Buongiorno, thanks for watching Doing Life with Jenny. If you're new here, I'm a Spanish teacher and I am moving to Hidalgo, Mexico. I'm currently building a house there. September 15th through October 15th is known as Hispanic Heritage Month. So we're going to celebrate today. We're going to kick things off by making some empanadas, which are traditional to Argentina. I'm currently awaiting my COVID results. It's probably just allergies, but I want to double check since I do work at a school and my side job is Subway. I don't want to be spreading COVID in your sandwiches. So depending on the results, we may or may not be going to the Hispanic festival after we make our empanadas. I'm vegan and gluten-free, so this is going to be very modified, to the point where I'm not even sharing the recipe because you're going to see quickly that I just do not do well in the kitchen. Essentially, you need a crust and a filling. I just used a pie filling and made it gluten-free and vegan. Beef is the most common filling because Argentina is known for its cattle industry. I added some diced tomatoes and green chilies to my beef as I warmed it up. And then here shortly, I'm wondering why it looks like pancake mix. It's because I started off having the recipe and at some point I switched to ingredients for the full recipe and I had to go back and change it. This is why I don't have a cooking channel. So here I am correcting my mistake. They're kind of supposed to look like the one I'm pointing to. Gluten-free dough does not cooperate. So we are going to the Hispanic festival. You know what that means? Negative COVID test. There's a lot of food, clothing, arts and crafts. Of course, there's nothing I can eat, so I just eat before or afterwards when I go to these kinds of events. And it's always cheaper to buy souvenirs in the actual country, so I didn't buy anything. I was just there for the music. This song is a combination of two genres called cumbia and quebradita. This is a band from Mexico. They play a genre called banda, and primarily they play a subcategory of that called quebradita, which I do not dance. They finally played a song that had a bit of a cumbia influence to it, so I was able to dance with my friend Jose. Well, I am back from the festival. Excuse the chocolate if you can see that on my shirt. I stopped and got ice cream on the way home and apparently I am a child and cannot eat it. So the festival was just okay. You know, having dietary restrictions, there was nothing there I could eat. I'm not going to buy any kind of souvenirs or t-shirts there because I can get them a lot cheaper when I travel. I was mostly just there to listen to the band and to dance with my friend Jose, but the band was mostly playing quebradita, which is not something I personally dance. It's like literally the only genre I do not dance from Mexico. I was hoping for more like cumbia and zapateada, and actually a band is playing cumbia tonight from 6 to 8, but it's just a little late for a Sunday night. Have to wake up early and teach tomorrow, and then I work at Subway tomorrow night as well. So with it being Hispanic Heritage Month, I want to take the rest of the video to explain which Spanish-speaking countries I have been to. Obviously, I've been to Mexico, but to places where your average gringos do not go to. I have never gone to Cancun or Playa del Carmen or Baja California. I've mostly gone to the center. Mexico City, Aguascalientes, Puebla, Querétaro, the state of Hidalgo, where else? Acapulco, Guadalajara. Up north, I've gone to Ciudad Juarez and Monterrey. I've gone to Oaxaca, Guanajuato. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but again, mostly central Mexico. Love, love, love Mexico. Obviously, I'm moving there. I would hope so. I've gone to Costa Rica. I think that was Christmas 2018, somewhere in there, 17. Beautiful country. a little on the expensive side compared to what I'm used to. It was difficult to navigate around the country, mostly because we rented a Nissan Versa, and a lot of the roads had like big boulders on them, so we literally creeped along at 20 miles an hour. I think if you had some kind of off-road vehicle, it would be fine. And if I remember correctly, they offer transportation in between cities as well. I don't remember there being public transportation. Maybe there was, I'm not sure. We were mostly on the west coast and a lot of the beaches were super rocky. So take your water shoes because it was quite uncomfortable walking along the beaches and into the water as well. We saw the Arenal volcano, we went to hot springs to swim, and we also went ziplining through the jungle. To this day, I still get anxiety about that because I really thought I was going to die. The last stretch, they had you go like Superman style like this, so you're like looking down at nothing below you. And of course they hook you up a couple different times so you don't fall off. But it's just the fact when you're on the platform you can see straight down, and yeah, terrified. Never will I do that again. Next, I went to Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina. I studied there for a month for my master's degree. Honestly, was not my favorite, probably the least favorite place I have gone. And to no fault of its own, when I went, it was 2011. And at that time, it was a very expensive place to visit compared to other places in Latin America. So I'm not really feeling that great. My COVID test is negative, but like my head keeps hurting worse by the minute. But anyway, Argentina is very European because of its history. Obviously, lots of Spanish influence because that's why lots of places in Latin America speak Spanish because Spain colonized them. But the difference is in Argentina, there weren't a lot of indigenous people like in other places in Mexico, Central and South America, and a lot of slaves from Africa weren't brought to that particular area. There were indigenous, there were African slaves, but not to the extent of other countries. So therefore, mostly Spanish influence with a large Italian and German population. Lots of immigrants came from there. So it just didn't feel like typical Latin America. Maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it as much. And I also went in winter. I'm not sure if that's why I didn't really see any markets or if they're just not a thing in Buenos Aires and maybe they are elsewhere. But yeah, I would like to go back and see other areas besides Buenos Aires to give me a better feel for it. But I just saw Buenos Aires, and we did take a trip with my class to Iguazu Falls on the Argentina, Brazil, and Paraguay border. But I didn't see anything besides the falls, and then we came right back to Buenos Aires. I also went to Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory. So if you're looking to travel without needing a passport, I recommend it. Also didn't care for it as much because with it being a territory, it was very Americanized. Everyone was trying to speak to me in English. And yeah, I was there to practice my Spanish. And then my newest Latin American country was Ecuador last summer for a month. I primarily went to Cuenca, Quito, and Guayaquil with some other towns sprinkled in there. I have a complete video on that. I think it's on my other channel. If so, I will link it in the description box below. I actually loved Ecuador. It's very similar to Mexico, actually. I did make a video on why I chose Mexico over Ecuador. I will link that in the description box below too. I think I have that on both channels, so I'll be sure to link the English one. But it's a beautiful country, very green, very affordable, except for anything that was imported is super expensive. Even more expensive than the imports in Mexico. And the weather was just perfect. It was nice to chilly in most places. Of course, it does get warm in some places as well. Guayaquil was starting to get on the warm side, but I wouldn't say it was hot, just almost hot. I didn't make it to the Amazon. I really wanted to, but mosquitoes love me and I just didn't feel like scratching to death. So I avoided that. We'll see if one day I make it over there. But again, just the mosquitoes are a big turnoff for me. Okay, I think we're gonna call the video quits here because I really feel like my head is going to shut down any second. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Please let me know which Spanish-speaking countries you have gone to, or if you have any plans for Hispanic Heritage Month.